Okay. Will you please welcome our next reader, Greg Sarris.
Make sure nothing happens. I was going to say, I haven't even been here to hex anything, and this thing was already falling around. I want to also thank Malcolm and Gail for this great opportunity. I'm going to read just a portion from my selection that is in the anthology. It's called Bluebelly. The bluebelly figures prominently in native, yes. The bluebelly figures, in the wrong place, sorry. Now with rich late autumn light over the gravel walkway outside my window and upon the rock wall further on, I see lizards again everywhere, stationed at the edges of the walkway, perched on the rocks. Looking at me 40-some years later, I am an old man or an older man, and after 30 years of living elsewhere, I am home again in Sonoma County, where I was born and grew up. I live now on Sonoma Mountain, a sacred landmark for my Coast Miwok and Southern Pomo ancestors. Not dramatic in shape, without the sharp peak of Mount Tamalpais or Mount St. Helena, the mountain seems from a distance a mere assemblage of rolling hills rising out of the Santa Rosa Plain. Where is the mountain? Yet its sheer size is astonishing, overseeing from its heights San Pablo Bay to the south and Mount St. Helena to the north. And once you begin to explore the mountain, whether from its eastern side above Glen Ellen or west from Petaluma, you will find unexpected oak and bay laurel groves, redwoods even, and hidden lakes and springs, a landscape as complex as any in Sonoma County, or as a Coast Miwok elder once said, as beautiful as the designs in our baskets. I did not grow up on the mountain, but in town in Santa Rosa. Still, I heard the old folks talk of the mountain then, the place where the beginning stories were first told, when Coyote, along with the help of his nephew Chicken Hawk and several others, created the world as we know it today. This mountain, the Santa Rosa Plain below, with its winding creeks and swath of meandering lagoon, the coastal hills directly west and beyond them the blue sea, and Mount Tamalpais all the way south, whose peak rises out of the landscape like the pitched roof of a redwood bark home. Quail was the most beautiful woman then, at the time of creation, when the animals were still people, which you will see if you look below her plume and find her black pearl eyes. There is a story from that ancient time that explains how skunk got his stripes, why woodpecker wears a red cap, and why rattlesnake goes nowhere without his rattle. There's a reason the warm winds dance with the fog on this mountain, and a reason, too, why the bay trees sing a lonesome young man's song. The sun is the oldest of us all, even older than Coyote. Blue-bellied lizard knows this. No one knows the sun better. The blue-bellied lizard, formerly known as the western fence lizard, is a staple of the rural Bay Area's long, hot summers, along with the dry, grassy hillsides and the sharp smell of bay laurel trees. From light gray to black in color, with multiple dark splotches, essentially the colors of the earth and rocks it inhabits, this lizard has a distinctive sky-colored belly, more pronounced in the males. Sentinel-like, the blue belly perches atop rocks, tree branches, and fences, watchful for food, flies, small moths, and spiders, as well as for predators, hawks, snakes, and larger species of lizards. The territorial males, known for their push-ups, will, during mating season from late May through July, stage fierce wrestling matches during which one may lose his tail, but the blue-bellied lizard, after losing its tail, will grow another. Perhaps the bluebelly's most distinctive feature for anyone living in or close to Bay Area rural landscapes is its ability to stem the spread of Lyme disease. According to countless studies, ticks that feed on its blood are much less likely to carry the disease. My ancestors always knew the bluebelly was important. He knows the sun better than any of us, after all. According to the old stories, the sun gave bluebelly a piece of its home, the sky, to wear as a sign of its kinship. Sun said to bluebelly, "With my home on your stomach, the people will always know to remember me. When they see you each spring, again sitting atop the rocks, they will know, too, that I have returned. Your belly will match the sky where once again I am looking down." That's why he's one of the first creatures to come out in the spring, and why he sits where the sun can see him. Have you ever noticed that wherever and whenever California poppies bloom, bluebellies abound? With their golden color, the poppies remind the lizards of the sun. Thank you.
You can keep it if you want. That's fine. We have another one. Will you please welcome our penultimate reader? Yeah, it's a fancy word for next to last. Alexandra Teague.
Thank you all for being here, and thank you to Heyday again. And I'm thrilled to be back in town for this. I'm actually living in Idaho these days, but I lived in San Francisco for years, and I spent a lot of time riding the bus. So this poem, which is in the anthology, is a sequence of sonnets called 4 Games Played While Riding the Bus. 1. The couple across the aisle is playing rock, paper, scissors. Over and over their hands touch, under and over, and rock is always beaten by paper's soft drapery. The rock's crushing of scissors has more military pomp, while scissors are always a cut above paper. The elegance of childhood rules defining nature. Amazing, I think, not that adults would play, but that the game has brought into the rush hour fray this tacit silence, each one deciding only as they move the shapes their own fists guard. With each smooth sleight of hand they're turning, it's better like this, it's not, let's don't, let's do, my love, I know your tricks, you never will, into swift 1, 2, 3, each turn risking strength exposed as vulnerability. 2. Maybe Alzheimer's is angelic possession, the mind's repetitive wings beating sense for all it's worth. Goddamn talking bus, goddamn talking bus, says the old man at each announcement. And doesn't everyone agree, really? Though our askance glances impress that calls for silence ought to come in silence. Please vacate front seats for seniors, goddamn talking bus, and the disabled. Each sing-song echo more mechanical, we raise embarrassed newspapers or drink from empty coffee cups. But after he climbs off and the voice goes on, no eating or drinking on Muni, someone says below their breath, oh, won't you just shut up? 3. The French-Algerian self-proclaimed genius painter in a scarf and burgundy fedora on the hottest October evening this San Francisco reasons, but I'm not wearing any socks or underwear. And he shows us by baring his ankles, adding 6 pieces, counting my shoes. After the quiet minute in which we each impromptu tally, one friend says 7, another 5, and I, blushing, 4. And just like that, fully dressed, lose. The evening is down to hairpins of light outside the bus windows, the plastic seats smooth as skin, and in the seconds that follow this shared revelation, we ride silently toward the dark, as though we have found a new, more serious art, not to paint the town, but to watch it hour by hour strip, each loss wagered on this companionship. 4. Near the back of the bus, a man sits down and deals 3 cards into his lap. 1, the king, is marked. He says, these 2 lose, the king card wins. These 2 lose, the king card wins. Not these, the red card. If you got money and you got heart, you can win yourself some money now. With shuffling sleight of hand, he turns them up, but no one will play him. The king is bent. These 2 lose, the king card's high. If you got 20 and you got heart, will no one play because the game is rigged to favor us, because we pity him, his fumbling fast hands as they lay the bent card down? Or do we fear the con that surely waits? No matter the cards, we know these blues. If you got money and you got heart, you can always lose. Thank you.